I know everybody, we're early. The program doesn't actually start for 2 minutes, but I'm here with our special guest, Lori Leyden. I'm going to give her a proper introduction here in just a moment, but I want to just welcome you all. Welcome, Lori. These programs that we're doing on Fridays have turned into a really important thing. We were just chatting here in the green room as we were coming over, and there's quite a bit of anxiety and stress and challenge, and so, just invite you to be in a relaxing place with some water or tea. And we're going to cover, I think, a lot of really good stuff here. So thank you for showing up. We're looking forward to this hour with you. And we officially start in about 30 seconds here. So Lori and I just wanted to come over to welcome you as we start the program. And Lori, just go ahead and come in and say hi.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. In fact, I've tried to get into your Friday call several times. I was successful on 2 occasions, but obviously this is very popular, so I'm excited to be here.
Okay, super. Me too. And excited to have you all here. Thank you for spending part of your Friday with us. And we're officially starting here in just a couple of seconds. So a lot to cover here today. And it now is 9 a.m. Pacific. So, and by the way, Lori Leyden is out in Santa Barbara. Lucky her, huh?
Yes.
I'm in Boulder, Colorado. We're going to introduce the Humanities Team leadership team to you at the end of the program. These are the angels that make this whole thing possible, make it real easy for me and Lori to just be here and gab away with you for an hour. So I'm Steve Farrell, and of course, this is Humanities Team that is doing these programs. We're a 17-year-old nonprofit 501c3 based in the United States, but as the name Humanities Team suggests, we're actually a global nonprofit. We're about half of the people we work with are out of the country, and about half are in the United States. So real excited to be here. As a nonprofit, of course, that means we don't have any shareholders, no sales targets, none of that kind of stuff. We're here actually only for 2 reasons: to support people on their conscious journey, to help accelerate their conscious journey, and to create planetary awakening so that we can create flourishing, in our own lives and in our homes and communities and in the world. And that might be a good segue into this program because, of course, COVID-19 has created a lot of severe challenges for people all over the world. But there's always a gift in challenge. And one of the gifts, I'll call it, is that we've all hit this pause button where Lori was just sharing. She travels around the world all the time. She's very in demand. You're going to love her. But most people just are not traveling right now. We're sequestered in our home. And that's giving us the opportunity to really go within, to pay attention to our own inner journey, and then to inform our own being state, where we're in this place of connection with the source of all that is, that we call the divine in Humanities Team, each other and the earth, and where we do take this time to do our inner journey. We create a whole new being state, and these things that I was talking about that Humanities Team stands for, which is helping people in the conscious journey and creating planetary awakening and healing this existential crisis on the earth, finding a new way of living on the earth, hitting a reset button here. So it's not just a pause button, it's a reset button where we're resetting humanity to a new way of living on the earth. So perhaps that's some of the gift in what we're experiencing here. Now, a shout out to all the people in our master's programs that are going through, Humanities Team master's programs, the community circle members, all of you that are on Zoom. Also, we're now broadcasting on Facebook Live. So shout out to you. We'll try and grab all of your comments and questions here during the hour as we get to, there's a segment where we're bringing you all in to talk about the things that you want to talk about. But let me introduce formally our featured guest here this morning. And She is Dr. Lori Leyden. She's an internationally known trauma healing professional, transformational leader, and mentor who courageously follows her heart, makes dreams become a reality, and inspires others to do the same. With her unique brand of heart-centered humility, humor, and grace, she finds the miracles that are possible out of tragedy and has brought comfort, peace, and hope to thousands around the world. And Lori, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Steve. I just love Humanities Team and all the programs you offer, and so it's a joy to be here today.
Yeah, well, our pleasure to have you here. And as I mentioned, Lori's incredibly in demand, working all over the world with NGOs and for-profit organizations. I think even governmental organizations. And so it's our good fortune that most people aren't traveling now. So if I normally reached out to Lori, she'd say, schedule me in 4 months, but I was able to schedule her on short notice. So Lori, let's jump into things that you'd like to do here. I know you've got some exercises planned for us, and we can just jump in.
Yeah, so, but just as a little context here, there are 4 characteristics to trauma. And, this is the work I do in Rwanda and Australia with Aboriginal communities and in post-school shooting communities. So I know this area of stress and trauma well. But the 4 characteristics for trauma are something unexpected and shocking, something where we feel a real or perceived threat of death or to our safety, feeling trapped and powerless, and feeling like there are no options. And so that's what COVID is doing to the whole world right now. And so when we think about our traumas, our deepest trauma, I believe, is separation from the divine, that wound of separation from the divine. So we have the virus, which also triggers our deepest wound. And so I think we have 2 purposes in this lifetime, and that is to rediscover our connection to the divine and then to express our own unique divine selves. And so when a crisis like this happens, it gives us an opportunity, as you indicated earlier, to go inside and to rediscover and to reconnect with ourselves and others and the divine. So there is a beauty and an opportunity here that's really important. A lot of my work is based on the work of heart math, which I know all of your work in Humanities Team is very familiar with that. And for me, the most astonishing thing about heart math is it's proving that the heart is really probably the master organ in the body, not the brain, but that the heart has its own brain. And the heart, when it's in lower states of anxiety and stress, is only triggering the reptilian brain, not the prefrontal cortex, which is the seat of all of our highest human gifts. And so when we're in states of peace and gratitude and love and wonder, the heart and the brain is communicating with our highest functions of the brain. Things like in the prefrontal cortex, we have the seat of our sense of transcendency, our sense of connectedness, creative problem solving, inner wisdom, intuition. And so when we are able to manage our stress, literally that heart-brain connection, I also believe, is the thing that helps us connect to the divine. I think we're heart-wired for the divine. And so the things that we'll be doing today are going to reinforce that.
Beautiful. Wow. And of course, you know this, Lori, and viewers do too, but when I was talking about Humanities Team 17-year-old 501c3, the foundational thing actually, when we talk about supporting people on their conscious journey and creating planetary awakening, is precisely the thing that where you're sharing is the greatest pain point, which is that we're all one, that, and of course it's not New Age or New Thought at all. Over millennia, classical figures, scientists, and now the scientists, many of them are making it their work, to talk about that everything's actually an emanation of one thing, which we could call, lots of things: God, cosmos, love, life. We call it her/him the divine in the humanities team, but it doesn't matter what the name is. That we're all an emanation of one thing, and that love is actually its basis or presence or content. Its form factor is one. Wonderful that you're bringing in the work. That part of the work that you're doing is just helping people to heal that sense of separation, where because most of us aren't brought up understanding this at all. I certainly wasn't. I was brought up in the Catholic Church. Wasn't any awareness that I'm trying to heal a separation with the divine.
Right. Well, and that's why I like to talk about the science, because obviously science is proving what we've known for a long time, is that we do have this divine connection. But the other thing to understand, that when we're under stress and trauma, it creates a brain dysfunction or a dysregulation in the brain. So there's the amygdala in the brain we call the smoke detector, which is supposed to let us know if we're safe or there's a threat. And then the amygdala communicates with the hippocampus, which is the memory center. And when the hippocampus and the amygdala are out of alignment, this is when we feel all the physiology, that stress physiology that overwhelms us. And one of the things that I'd love to start with is the fact that most people are not breathing properly. And so we have all this stress, and if we're not taking deep diaphragmatic breaths, we're sending a signal to the brain that we're not safe. And so one of the things that people can do every hour is just take 2 minutes to breathe. And we could do that right now if that works for you, Steve.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Now, I'm going to add some tapping to this. Some of your listeners may be aware of emotional freedom techniques or tapping. And this particular, as we tap on certain acupressure points on the body, it sends a signal to regulate the amygdala and the hippocampus. So it's like meditation on steroids, if that's even an oxymoron. But what we're going to do is we're just going to tap on certain points as we take slow, deep breaths. Okay? And I'll just guide you through that and ask everyone to follow along. So we start at the beginning of the eyebrow, and we're just going to tap here at the beginning of the eyebrow. And we're going to take in just a real slow, deep breath. And then we're going to go to the side of the eye and take another breath. And I exaggerate that breathing so we know we're taking that full inhale and that full exhale. The next point is under the eye. And then under the nose. And under the lips. And here on the chest. And just one more under the arm, like this, right here. And I'm going to ask everyone to close their eyes and just take another breath and just tune in and just notice what you notice in your mind and your body now after taking a few breaths. And what are you aware of, Steve?
Well, right now I'm aware of just this container that we've created, so to speak, this little healing container. So that's where everything shifted as we started through these exercises. It just brought me into this releasing and feeling into and sensing. So I'm just very present in this little container that we've created.
So here's a very simple thing that we can do every hour to interrupt those stress hormones that are flowing through our bodies. Now, there's a lot more to EFT, but for our purposes, tap and breathe can be so quick and gentle a way for us to refocus. And so it's a great balancing. Normally, I do a few more rounds, but I'm aware of our time. And also, but people can do this as often as they need to through the day, and they will find a big, big difference.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, I'm going to guess, and even in the window, you can see people are sharing. I'm feeling relaxed. I'm feeling relaxed too. Yeah, very relaxing. And so focusing on breathing and tapping. Do you want to just share in the tapping? And I know a lot of people are familiar with tapping and ETF, but do you want to share a little bit of the science of that for people that aren't familiar with it?
Yeah. So of course we have 4,000 years of observational data about acupoint. I'm sorry. Yeah, acupoint. What do you call acupuncture? See what happens when you don't have your coffee in the morning. And so basically EFT combines acupressure points with positive psychology. And there's over 133 studies over the last 30 years that prove that by tapping on these acupressure points, we're literally regulating the amygdala and the hippocampus. We're interrupting the flow of endorphins, of the flow of stress hormones, and allowing endorphins to flow, so that literally we have the medicine right inside of us. And we have it at our fingertips too, as we tap on these points. And I partner with the leading researcher in the world, Dr. Peter Stapleton, who has done the majority of this research, showing that it literally, when we tap, we lower our cortisol 43%. We boost our immune system 113%. It helps with literally any symptom that you're having. So this is the tool, and I've developed a trauma healing protocol based on EFT that I bring into these traumatized communities. And it's really effective, because what people don't understand is that stress and trauma is literally a brain dysfunction. And so just treating it with words doesn't work. So that's why I find it to be such a fascinating tool.
Wow. Well, and a valuable one at that. One of the things that I was sharing here when we were coming on, Lori, is I caught this Mark Benioff broadcast last night, and he's the CEO of Salesforce.com, huge, high-tech firm, cloud computing and stuff like that. Also an activist CEO, which is really cool. He's pushing CEOs to, that the world has changed. If he says anybody focused on just top line and bottom line or as a dinosaur, I'm going to go out of business. He is pointed in the right direction here. He was sharing that 38% of his workforce is feeling extreme trauma and emotional challenge right now. Mm-hmm. And his workers, Salesforce.com, I've seen payroll data. They average over 200,000 a year. So these are very high-paid workers. Mm-hmm. So that really, that was kind of a wake-up call for me. I mean, we're doing these programs because we understand there's anxiety and stress and challenge out in the world. We want to be a support for that. But we're now coming out of lockup. Feels like maybe people are feeling a little better. But clearly, we've got some substantial challenges going on here for people all over the world.
Yes. Well, and that's the thing. Another characteristic of trauma is that sense of isolation and feeling like we're all alone. And of course, that's a worldwide condition right now. And if we overlay that on any stresses we already had, that's going to compound the effect. And so I think really the big theme is uncertainty. So much is uncertain that on a global level. And that uncertainty isn't going away anytime soon. But again, as you pointed out at the beginning, the one thing that we do have is our ability to go inside and work on ourselves. And through EFT and meditation and various things that we can do to find that peace in our hearts first, so that we're acting from that place of peace and responding from that place of peace instead of the fear and the anxiety.
Boy, that is the key thing right there, Lori, because I can catch myself when we're virtual and humanities team. We've got this beautiful team all over the world, but you can fall into of all these things that are going on and juggling, etc. so I can feel into that energy, and then even though you're trying to mask it, you're coming, from that. Or you can be feeling into this, our daily practice, which most of us have, and more, we're keeping that constant throughout the day, where you're really just, you're self-regulating, you're staying in this place of real just deep connection, where this healing with the source thing is very present, because we're feeling actually that grace and peace and love and blessing, all of these things. And we're understanding that everything that is ours to do, we're doing right now, and all the things that we can't do right now don't need to get done now. They'll get, they'll get done as the day unfolds. Those are two very different places. Yeah. And I find I'm of value to myself and those that I work with, where I'm taking, I'm doing my work to really stay in that latter place and not let myself drift off, which is easy to do, to this other place.
Well, I think also those of us who have been on a spiritual path for a long time, we think we're not affected by kind of all the global energies in the world, but of course we are. We're all in this human condition together. And there is going to be a bit more overlay to whatever your ability to get peaceful is, a little bit more, a few more triggers here and there. And then of course we respond to the suffering in the world as well. But the most important thing is to find peace in my heart so I can stay connected to the divine, because from that place, I have all the gifts I need in my heart and my brain to move forward, to take care of myself, to heal, to respond appropriately in a healthy way. So that's why I'm excited about, this work.
Yeah, and I have to say how wonderful and refreshing it is, Lori, to be working with somebody that's bringing in explicitly, this whole connection with the divine, which is at the center of your work. And as I mentioned, it's 17 years old. This was why we launched back in June 2003. This very reason, this was the thing that got 50% of the attention of just this one thing. And of course, there are many, when we talk about supporting people on their conscious journey, there are many dimensions to that, many. But the root problem actually is this thing that we keep coming back to here, which is really getting into place, into connection with the divine and with the earth and with life, where we see, in a sense, it's our higher self, where we're kind of operating as a cell, in the body of humanity or the earth or the cosmos, because we're feeling into that whole that oneness, and coming from that. Then once as we feel into that, then we come from a place of service, because we're a part of what is, and then service always leads to positive action. So there's this whole virtuous circle thing that gets going. But where we're not taking, if I actually go way back in time to before the 1990s, I remember reading about mastery and that Jesus and other figures that had achieved mastery, and I was wondering to myself, I wonder what mastery means. So people can probably relate to that. Now on our conscious journey, we really get clear on what mastery means, and what our invitation is, not to just understand it intellectually, but to embody it. And as you mentioned, heart actually is the most powerful instrument, that's kind of on the conscious journey, we're dropping down from the head to the heart. We're operating more from this place. This is where our leadership is based here. So, but I know you had all of these really cool exercises, Lori, and let's just jump into another one that you'd like to bring to viewers.
So this is a very simple exercise, and Steve, I'm going to ask you to do this with me, and people who are listening, if you have a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, I'd like to take 2 minutes for you to write down everything you have to be grateful for. 2 minutes, and I'm going to time us right here. And just notice what you notice in your mind and your body when you're making the list. And for those of us who might be just joining us now, we're just making a list of everything we have to be grateful for. Okay, and we can pause now. And I want you to count up, how many things did you have on your list, Steve?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And these were, some of these were like very involved millions of people. So there were general categories.
Yeah. And would you mind reading your list?
Sure.
And before you read your list, I'm just going to ask other people to just sit and listen to Steve's list and notice what's on your list that might not be on his, and vice versa. And notice what you feel in your body as you're listening to Steve's list. Go for it.
So God and life, which are just two sides of the same coin, right? Because there is only one. But that's the beautiful thing. We're the everlasting life, right? We're eternal beings, and God and life, which are just beautiful. My wife, my 2 teenage kids, my dog, my home, Colorado, where I'm based, where I get to live now. My coworkers, these partners, you'll meet them, some of them here shortly before the hour is over. And other people that aren't here, they're volunteers. We're in over 40 countries right now, people all over the world that are volunteering and leading their work and our work in humanities team. Then turning to what's going on now, the healthcare workers, all of them that are putting their lives at risk, going in every day to hospitals and medical centers, and other frontline workers, the janitors, the people at the desk, administrative workers. All these frontline workers that are out there putting themselves in harm's way to do what they're doing all over the world. What's happening now, that we're actually healing, as I perceive it, and I was sharing, pause button going to reset button, that we're healing right now in this very moment, and in these days and weeks and months and years ahead, this existential crisis, because this invitation has been given to pay attention to the inner world, the inner journey, not just be on that American dream, chase materiality wheel that has created so many challenges in the world. And then that we're healing, so future generations, as I perceive it, kids and their kids and their kids, I think we'll have a whole new earth, a whole new humankind that they'll experience. Then Lori, you feeling gratefulness for you being here, the viewers where we're all spending this quality time together, and this now moment, that we can't get back. Only this now moment, right here, right now, that we're all experiencing together.
Beautiful, beautiful. And not that it's a game of quantity versus quality, but when I give this exercise to my orphan genocide survivors in Rwanda, who have nothing, they can come up with 35 things. So just sit in that for a second. But the beauty here is and there's all kinds of science around what gratitude does for us. But just taking this 2 minutes to make a list of everything we have to be grateful for, I believe brings us back into connection with the divine. And it also starts that heart-brain connection moving in the right direction. And then from that place, we can have perspective, a little more perspective. And I know, like you, Steve, I think I've waited all my life for this moment in time when the entire world is focused on healing. And this is such an important time of possibility where miracles can come out of tragedy. So as we think about what we have to be grateful for, we also feel more generous, more collaborative, more, willing to connect. Did you notice after that exercise what was happening in your body?
I feel circulation. I feel, as I mentioned, even all going back to when we were doing these tapping exercises, calm, relaxation, gratitude. Feel, gratitude where it's kind of a heart-based thing. So I feel very present. There's nothing in the future or behind me that I'm paying attention to. So yeah, all of those things.
So from that place, oftentimes gratitude, when we do a rage of gratitude, it gives rise to the energy of love. And then in the presence of love and gratitude, joy can emerge. And in the presence of those energies, wonder can emerge. So I'd love for us to do a 2-minute exercise on wonder. And this, again, is very simple. I'm just going to ask people to pick one thing to be in wonder about. Something, it can be something internal, an image internal. It can be where you're sitting. It can be outside. But approach that thing as if for the first time with the innocence of a child. And just be sitting in wonder of whatever it is you choose. And we're going to do that for just 2 minutes. And we can pause now. And let me ask you, Steve, what did you find to be in wonder about?
Well, I was glad that you went right to love and joy, just preceding that, because that for me is the biggest wonder thing, which I go to is even in these recent months, my daughter's 15, and she's never going to be 15 again.
Mhm.
And with all of that, and of course there are lots of challenges around 15, but it's such a precious moment, the wonder of just what's right under my nose there. Likewise, my son who's 18, who's graduating from high school, and the wonder of that with what the mastery as he's coming into mastery in different parts of his life. My wife, Stephanie, she was just laying there nodding off, going to sleep here last couple of weeks, and I remember looking at her and just thinking, and she's such a loving person. And I thought, man, I am so blessed. I mean, this woman is just, she doesn't have a mean bone in her body. It's all about being an expression of love. My coworkers, the environment that we've created here in Humanities Team are real, we're not professional authors and speakers and things. Our real value contribution is just to live the work itself. And the culture we've created, the way we work together, the family that is here, the loving expression that is the wonder, in our workplace. It's amazing, and at home, it's amazing. My son, 18, he has a girlfriend and friends, and he walks around the house, and when we pass, he says, "Love you, Dad." And I mean, how cool is that? He's not embarrassed to say that.
Exactly. And so, I mean, even as I'm listening to you, I'm filled with that wonder with you. And when we allow ourselves to be in wonder, it feeds on itself. And then we continue, it grows and grows, and we see the miracles, we see the gifts, and that again helps us to bring that connection back. Like there must be divine order in things there, you know, it gives us a whole new perspective, and we can be in wonder about anything. The hair on somebody's head, the gap between someone's teeth. That's one of my orphan came up with to be in wonder about. She saw God in the gap between the teeth of her dear friend. So these kinds of things, physiologically, we can feel physiologically the change in our bodies. And so this is like, again, we have all the tools we need right inside of us.
Yes, we do. Yeah, and this also might be, we're just a shout out to everybody. Part of the calls is, of course, is we're bringing in your questions, your comments and things here. In a moment, we'll just do a little more together because Lori's got all these really valuable, I'll call it tools in her toolkit, where she's sharing different exercises, which are awesome. You know, we can share in our own homes or in our workplaces. So we'll do this a little more. And then we're going to, as we have been on Fridays, we're going to invite you to come in with questions and comments and things to share. Also, some of you in the master classes, if you've got something, we're going to invite you to share. In fact, on that note, if you want to, in the window, things that you that you were feeling into, Lori was asking me, Steve, what were the when we went quiet, what was the sense of wonder about? You know, what were you feeling into? Love for you to just put your own comments in the window here, and we can come back to those here in a moment when we go to open mic. Lori, let's go to. I know you've got these other beautiful things that you planned. We can go to the next one if you want.
Well, the next one was going to be a little meditation, depending on how much time we have. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or what would you say?
Here we can go. Let's go another 5 minutes.
Okay.
4 or 5 minutes.
Perfect, perfect. So I'd ask everyone to get into a comfortable position, and if it feels comfortable to put your hands on your heart, I invite you to do that, and closing your eyes. Just taking a few healing breaths now. Bringing that breath all the way to the belly. Exhaling any tension you may be holding. Taking in a soothing breath. Erasing the blackboard of your mind. Knowing that this is your time now. Imagine being able to place your consciousness in your heart, knowing that your heart will know just what to do. And with your consciousness in your heart, imagining an infinity circuit that connects your heart to the divine one heart. Imagine being able to ride that infinity circuit until you meet the divine in the sweet spot in the middle, where there's only love. And from this place, taking a moment to open to the energy of gratitude once again. Just noticing what you notice. Noticing how that energy of gratitude can give rise to the energy of love. What love may be present for you now. And when love and gratitude are present, it's possible for a spark of joy to emerge. Just noticing what joy may be present. in the presence of these energies, opening to the energy of wonder. The wonder that we're all connected on this journey back to the divine and to discover our own unique expression of the divine. The wonder that our hearts are connected. The wonder that whatever we choose to heal in ourselves sets up a resonance field for that healing to unfold in our world. So that your greatest service work in the world truly is being in service to your own healing. I'm taking a moment now to listen for some wisdom from your heart. What does your heart want you to know in this moment? Just noticing whatever arises. And in the energy of your heart and your connectedness to the divine, let's take that energy of gratitude, love, joy, and wonder and blast that grace to wherever you feel called to in the world, to your loved ones, to your community. To all the hearts on the planet eager for healing. What's possible from this place? Let's take a moment to dream a dream for ourselves and our new world. And with a few more healing breaths, just gently coming back to the room, bringing your heart wisdom with you, and gently opening your eyes when you feel ready.
Oh, beautiful. That was a nice way to bring everything together, Lori. Thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
All
It's
right.
kind
Yeah.
no.
Were you saying something?
I was going to say it's kind of like a drive-by approach to the work that I do, but it works.
Right. Actually, and Lori, if you would share, your website. How can people go find you so that they can do something more than a drive-by? Go deeper in your work.
Just LoriLeyden.com and createglobalhealing.org. And you can find out about our humanitarian work and then also about the spiritual practice work with the grace process.
Fantastic. Yeah, encourage you to go check out those sites. Lori is a real treasure. So, okay, we've got comments in the window, which is fantastic here. So we're going to go. I'll read some of these, and then we'll. We're just going to. Lori and I will just kind of chat about these. So feel free now to put questions in the window, comments that you want to bring in. This is the moment where we're wanting to bring in our interaction with you, particular things that you're thinking about right now. So let's see. Mark says, how about fear of change with the massive changes upon us, AI, et cetera? Do you want to comment on that, Lori?
And so there again, right? We when we use EFT, we can clear the anxiety so that when our heart brain is functioning in balance, there's something more can be revealed. There's something underneath the fear that needs to be released. So that's just a symptom that there are something that needs to be released in your thinking, so that at least when we can come back to a place of peace, we can then re-examine that fear from a place of neutral, as opposed to being in the midst of all those stress hormones that fear cascades, through us.
Yeah, beautiful. That makes perfect sense. Lori, one of the things people are asking is they're wondering if you could share those links, those web addresses one more time where people can go to follow your work.
So it's lorileyden.com and createglobalhealing.org.
All right, thank you for that. So now Diego comes in and says, I definitely noticed an opening of the space. After the practices, I felt that my vessel was emptied and ready to refill. So that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And then D says, I was feeling into parallel universes where my cat is with me. He disappeared a few weeks ago, and I wonder where he's gone and when he'll be back. Mm-hmm. Okay, David says, thanks, Lori, for your energy, and thanks to Steve and the team for organizing this. Have a great day. And David, and all of you viewers, thank you for being here with us. This has turned into a pretty treasured moment. These Fridays where we're alternating, we do them in the morning and then in the later afternoon. So thank you for joining us, all of you all. So Jane brings in, I was in wonder of my dog, such a gentle soul, and wonder that he has a gentle consciousness of joyfulness in life, enjoying the simple things. How wonderful that his tail wags, showing he is happy. Boy, and Jane, let me share too, when I was back a little bit ago, as Lori was asking me, what are you grateful for? You know, I probably didn't catch me saying Sadie in there, who's our dog, a Portuguese water dog. And she is just the most treasured dog. So I feel you, feel that same energy of appreciation that you're bringing in. They're wonderful. I mean, they're just enlightened beings, and we're blessed to have them in our homes. So Eileen says, please repeat ways to reach Lori's work. And then Lori did put these in the window, lorileyden.com and the other createglobalhealing.org. Okay, Patricia says, a beautiful meditation. Dr. Lori, I believe, quote, we can create heaven on earth by living in heart-centered gratitude, end quote. Thank you very much. I think we'd say we're with you on that, huh?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How about Janet? I sent my joy to political division and saw a world of oneness and all people connecting. I love that piece because we have to send our love to everyone. And in that space, they have a chance also to connect into that love.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and Janet, I also want to thank you for that joy to political division and saw a world of oneness, because this is what the perennial wisdom is sharing, right? Including channelers where this is their particular thing, is that all of this division that's coming up, and that including political division, is coming. It's here now. It's come up for healing, right? So our job, we need to make sure that we're not, that's misqualified energy. So our job is to get ourselves, into a place of real connection, and so that we can be healers and alchemists, where we can bless these things that we're seeing in the world, where we bless them together, and where we're, yes, be human and talk about the things that are here and the things that are challenging. And we don't need to go into new age bypass. We can talk about those things. But the end point where we're really wanting to do something, be a healing agent, is this blessing it, and seeing the perfection, and knowing that even forces that are unseen are actually, as we bless, and especially as we do that together, that we're actually creating healing where there's political division, creating healing where there are homeless people with COVID-19, etc. That we're really doing that work, because that's one of the ways that we can be we can be so valuable to our communities and to the world right now. Okay, so let's see. Patricia says, I was wondering what heaven on earth will look and feel like. Yeah, it feels pretty good. David, thank you. Great program. Carmelina, thank you very much for these precious moments together. Hey, back at you, Carmelina. We're, we really enjoy this too. Our team does as well. Our leadership team, extremely busy, but most of them drop what they're doing, the mission critical team, to come and be a part of these programs on Fridays. It's really a beautiful thing for all of us. Okay, Carrie says, can you elaborate, Lori, on EFT?
Sure. And so there's a lot of information out there. I would suggest that people go to PETAstapleton.com, and there's a lot of free information that you can download. But the thing that I love about EFT is it literally opens up our own inner wisdom and intuition, because when we regulate the heart-brain-body connection, we have all the answers right inside of us. And so again, it's a simple exercise. It appears to be simple, but we're bringing the highest part of our human gifts back online that weren't available to us when we're in stress and anxiety and trauma. And so again, as you think about it, it's regulating the physiology by tapping on these points and allowing us to open up to what is our inner wisdom, what's underneath the fear, what's underneath when we get into a peaceful place and ask ourselves now from this sense of peace, how do I choose to respond or react? And so again, I love it because the power is inside the person, and no one is telling me what my wisdom needs to be, because it's only through experience that we really have transformation and change. So when you experience that peace in your body, everything's possible. And that's often what people will say who come to me and I'm working with them and they're very highly agitated about something or traumatized about something. When we bring that heart, brain, body back to balance, there's like this whole opening and everything is possible in that place. And so again, one of our spiritual gifts and actually our wisdom gifts, that we have that power inside of us. And that's what EFT allows us.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you for putting that link in the window. And you all viewers, if you like the idea, copy that link, and so you can keep that handy. That'll be a real treasure. So let's see. Tommy says, so good to feel the fullness and love for all. Amen, Tommy, with you. And Tricia, thank you. Lori and Steve, beautiful healing. Okay, Les brings in, during the wonder exercise, I was marveling at how life's billions of elemental pieces fit together so naturally. And ironically, how humans seem so compelled to disregard and disrupt that natural symbiosis. How can we create a unifying force to reconcile those seemingly opposite forces? Lori, do you want to?
Yeah, for sure. So that's the thing. As we know from heart math, our hearts create a resonance magnetic field that's 5,000 times greater than the brain. And so when we're in those states of gratitude, love, joy, and wonder, other people that we're around can literally step into that resonance field. Their resonance field will be elevated. And so that's how powerful it is when enough people on the planet are in that state of peace. It's easier for other people to step into that resonance stream.
Beautiful, which is why, yeah, we all need to do our own work. And as Lori has been sharing repeatedly, as we share in Humanities team, it all starts with us, of just becoming conscious and really self-regulating, cutting into that heart place.
I'm sorry, Steve.
Connection place, and then all of these things we can do together as alchemists and healers. Yeah, Lori, please.
Just the miracle for me that has been so profound through all of this is that we've been told by scientists we had 10 years left on the planet if we didn't do something about climate change, and billions of people could not figure it out. But the gift, quote unquote, in the virus is that we're seeing the climate, the pollution is down, smog is down, people are breathing better, the oceans are getting cleaner. Water is cleaning up, and this all happened in 2 months. and so the miracle out of tragedy there, again, this is what happens when we, go inside and spend that time in peaceful reflection, that these are the kinds of things that are possible, even though this was a forced lockdown. That's the gift of the virus.
No kidding. The beautiful thing here is on the conscious journey, we've all probably read materials that in this generation, that this new spirituality or this the many or oneness conscious lifestyles, that this would emerge on the earth, right? We've all heard this is what our journey is about. It's individually, we're doing the work, collectively, that in this generation, while we're alive, this whole U-turn it happens. And here it is, right here, right now. People wonder with Humanities Team how we're doing so many things right now. We are stretched beyond anything that we've ever been right at this moment. But it's a good stretch. I mean, we're just gratified that we can play a role, in this U-turn that's happening. That's so crucial. So I personally believe, as we talk about the divine, and that this is no accident that this is happening now. And of course, there are people that are giving their lives, and so that's part of our prayer of gratitude for those souls who agreed to give their lives for this to occur. But how are we going to, in this lifetime, how are we going to achieve planetary awakening and create healing for the environment and ecology, etc.? So it is a gift. Okay, Esha brings in, what comes up is feeling abandoned, even though feeling much gratitude. Alone, no family that wants anything to do with me. Aging lupus of 45 years, feeling awful every day. Even though adept at clearing, this body is still sick and not able to do much to take care of me. So offering this love of me, a precious being, but so easy to leave and abandon. I've taken care of so many. Where are the ones who are caring for me? This sounds so selfish. I am not. I am in awesome subtle activism groups and praying and always holding the planet. Well, just an offering on behalf of others alone physically. So thank you, Esha, for giving voice to that, because I suspect that you're not the only one feeling that way. So thank you for bringing that in. Lori, do you want to share something here?
Well, and obviously my heart goes out to you and under those circumstances. And that's why our spiritual practice is so important. And just to continue with that, doing the things you know to do to be as resilient as you can. But I love the fact that you're in these activism groups. It gives you perhaps could give you a sense of connectedness, but just offering my deep wish for your peace and healing. Yeah.
Me too, here, Esha. And then she comes in and she's got another comment just below. It says, thank you, and for Lori presenting GAT, especially in such a practical, easy way. And thank you, Lori and Steve and all. So Esha, yeah, thank you for bringing that in. And let's just breathe into, let's take a moment to kind of feel, Esha, into all of the beautiful things that you've done, that you reference, helping others, even now with, you mentioned subtle activism, being a healing force. And so let's just kind of feel into you and healing into your body, mind, and spirit, and gratitude for you and the ways that you contribute. See if we can help even bring up that sense of love and joy and grace and peace and healing in you, and also all of the others of you who, because I suspect there are many others who feel this way, who are very challenged right now. So a little bit of healing energy for all of you out there. Now, and thank you, messages are still coming in here. Thank you to all of you. We are just about out of time, so I want to just cover a few things here in the couple minutes we've got left. First, Humanities Team's a 501c3 nonprofit. We have increased our full scholarships and half scholarships for most of our master classes. So invite you to, if you're challenged, if you're not challenged, invite you to just take the regular master classes. They're inexpensive. They're less than 300. If you have lost your job, and your income source, we're trying to reserve those full scholarships and half scholarships for those people. So I invite you to then to reach out to us. We're going to continue to offer those. We're going to do these Friday programs and many other things that we're doing. Global Oneness Days coming up. It's a huge free program that's 8 days long. Many free programs that we're going to be offering to support you. So, and together, just like we are here now, we can actually support each other. We can be healers and alchemists for each other and for the earth, where we come together like this, which is a really beautiful thing. I want to invite to come onto the screen my partners here, Garth Catterall, Dee Meyer, Tim Noah, Karen Gordon. These are the angels that, yeah, they are. Okay, so the wave, they're the angels that create this program, make it real easy. Lori and I just get to yak away. They do the heavy lifting. So thank you all for creating the programs, making it so easy for us. Garth will come on here. He always looks like he's coming in from heaven, but he'll hopefully come on. Lori, thank you. Thank you for being our special guest here this week. Your wisdom was wonderful, and I hope people will check out those web addresses where Lori offers many resources, as she mentions. This was just kind of like a quick drive-by, because there's so many things that she offers, and she just wanted to give us a taste for the wonderful work that she's doing in the world. So, Lori, thank you.
Thank you, Steve, and to your audience as well. It's an honor to be connected with Humanity's team.
You bet. Well, wonderful to have you here. Viewers, thank you for spending a moment with us on Friday. And stay tuned. We got lots of good things coming. We're here, and we are in action. And any of you that are interested in volunteering, reach out to us also. We are doing a lot right now, and it feels good, to be to tell the divine, hey, I'm an expression of you. My will is your will. So we're here as healers and alchemists. And if that resonates with you and you've got time to volunteer, let us know. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. All of you moms, happy Mother's Day. Okay, and namaste to everybody.